Well, hello, everybody. It's Nancy Cogar, and this is Boomer Time. I am so glad you've joined us today. This is going to be an important conversation that we're having today. We are talking about planning and we are talking about options. So make sure to listen closely. And of course, you can always go back and listen again. This is going to be on my website, nancycogar.com, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, all over the place. So share with a friend. This is good stuff. And I have a wonderful guest for you today who knows these things and I'm excited about what she's going to share. That is Kaya Groves, and she is the owner and operator of Front Porch Senior Advisors, which is a local small business right here in our area. And she is on the ground with aging adults and their families to try to provide options and advocate for them during this aging process, which is not an easy process, as you know. Well, welcome, Kaya. I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you for having me on the show.
Absolutely. And I just want to say up front, too, that, I've gotten to know you, which is great. And I just admire just your real life, kind of down to earth compassion for people, and just knowing and recognizing how important these things are and how confusing they can be. So that's why I'm hoping when folks listen today, I try to be aware of when I start sounding like a lawyer, like, okay, back up, let's talk about what this means to the average person. So I'm hoping that's how our conversation goes today. So
Yes.
so tell me, just what is the focus of Front Point Senior Advisors? I mean, as far as your mission statement and what you aim to do.
So, my mission and goals are to help seniors and their families navigate the whole process of senior living, in home
Mm.
care, the cost, having a plan put in place, seeing the communities, and then having peace of mind about it and knowing, being able to see around that corner. So,
Sure, and it can be different scenarios, for a lot of people involved. Um, it may be something that you meet in the hospital, or maybe
mhm.
you meet, after a fall or after a family intervention, or somebody just comes to you and says, "I don't know what to do, but I got to do something." So if anybody's in that scenario, is that somebody that could reach out? I mean, do you have to be in a certain place as far as planning is concerned?
Yeah, so I meet a lot of people in speaking engagements when I go to senior communities and that have questions about, okay, so I kind of think I know what I want to do, but I'm not sure how to go about it.
Hmm.
So that's a really
Hmm.
fun one. But a lot of families I meet and seniors are in when after something's happened. So I
Yeah.
meet them in rehab, in the hospital, when they go, uh-oh, reality
Yeah.
has just hit, mom or dad can't go home safely, so what do we do? So that is
Yeah.
where I meet most people at, and creating a plan and giving them options and resources to go, uh-oh, what do we do now?
Yeah. Yeah, because the natural thing would be, crisis. What do I do? And I've got a lot of folks that come in too and kind of in the same scenario. Um, and when you start giving them options, you start talking about, hey, I've been down this journey before. You see somewhat of a relief on them because, having that advocacy is just becoming more and more important through this process.
Absolutely. And I would say what people discover the most when I meet with them is, oh, we don't have a plan in place. We
Hmm.
haven't met with an attorney. We haven't done pre planning. Now we're in crisis and everything is more expensive than it could have been. If we would have had that conversation with our spouse, with our family, with our kids, with our parents. Um, so I see them on the other side of that going, I wish I would have met with
Yeah.
Nancy um, because it
Yeah.
costs so much less to make a plan and just look at things. But a lot of times people don't want to delve into what they don't know about. So we kind of give
Yeah,
them
and
the path.
that's why I'm hoping this provokes more of that conversation. That's been kind of a constant for me. Don't wait. If you don't want to have that crisis conversation, these are things you really should start planning as part of a retirement plan, something like that, because there are options, and that's That's the name of the game. So tell me, what are some of the worst case scenarios you kind of find as far as limited options? I, of course, am thinking, nursing home care. There, no way, no one's available to care for somebody. They can't. They have limited mobility. They, can't take care of themselves, and they're like, that's the end of the road. Um, what are you finding?
Well, and most people, a lot of people wait that long to even look at options and they haven't seen any options. I'm finding a lot of times that people are picturing nursing care as the only option. They
Mm-hmm.
don't realize that assisted living is full and active lifestyle and trips and fun things, engaging,
Yeah.
social, and they're just not picturing that. They're picturing the old style nursing care as the only option. And mom and dad have said, please don't ever put me into a place like that. Well, the kids also not walking into assisted living in independent living, you don't know. So you think, oh
Sure.
gosh, I can't, don't ever want to do that to my parents. Just yesterday, I had a gal and I brought her into an assisted living for her mom who's in rehab right now. And she just cried
Mm-hmm.
because she was so relieved. So I
Mm-hmm.
like the happy tears like that, that she
Yeah.
was picturing something, depressing. She saw the liveliness, the seniors active and playing games and having fun, even though their mobility, a lot of them are in walkers or scooters. And
Right.
yeah, so those kind of stories are really fun because she just felt so bad for doing this to her mom because her mom can't go home. So
Yeah.
it was just really beautiful to see.
Yeah. Yeah. And homes can be so isolating.
Yeah.
Uh, I think thinking beyond, I know this person was my neighbor, this person was my neighbor, and I've lost touch with them. Sometimes when they go to these places and look around, they find people they know. And it's,
They do.
I love seeing that, the smile of, hey, this isn't anything of what I expected.
Yeah, yeah, that's a fun one. And I
Hmm.
think too, pre-planning, because what I'm finding more and more is, maybe somebody's lost a spouse and they're just in
Hmm.
their home. I get calls a lot from younger and younger seniors going, I want a more active lifestyle and
Hmm.
don't want to be in this big house alone. And so it's a really fun thing to see walk into an independent living community and see the lifestyle there. You've got restaurant dining, you've got activities, you've got trips, you're just, I don't know, in the social aspect of it, it really can make a big difference.
Right, right. I love the look on their face when, they see the environment and, I would even say it's 50 and up. So,
Yeah,
someone comes in, makes your bed, cleans your apartment, and you can eat whenever you want, and they're planning your trips. That's not too bad. So,
absolutely. Well, and it's funny because it's not as expensive as people think because it's all inclusive.
yeah.
So it seems expensive when you think about, oh gosh, and I also have all these bills, but senior living,
Hmm.
including assisted living, is going to include all your food, your meals, restaurant style dining. It's going to include all your utilities, transportation, your rent, your internet, everything. So
Hmm.
it's really,
Hmm.
when you add up what you're already paying for all of those extra things, then you go,
Hmm.
that's
Yeah.
not as much as I thought.
Yeah, exactly. You'd be surprised sometimes at what you're spending money on, without realizing it. So,
Yeah.
I want to take a quick break if we can. And then when we come back, I did want to talk about most of the time you hear folks saying, I want to stay home if I can, and if that's what they're thinking, I absolutely support them in that as long as they're able to, take care of themselves, stay safe, and find the right help. So I know you've got some options with that
I
and
do.
good options. Yeah. So we'll talk about that next if that's okay. Yeah. Welcome back, everybody. I am dressed for fall today, so I hope you've noticed that. And I also want to say my friend Kaya is not in San Francisco, but it just makes for a pretty picture. So she is right here in our
Bring some good
hometown. So
energy.
yeah, but that's I always love that picture there. So Before the break, we were talking about assisted living, independent living, and there is such a confusion, I think, about what those things are and the purpose of them and what's needed. Um, but the one question, and really the what I hear from people first is, I want to stay home if I can. I want to stay home, and you can understand that they've worked hard to get that mortgage paid off, and they've been there 40, 50 years. It's home.
Yeah.
So if someone says that to you, what are some of the things you bring up and look at as far as examining that question?
So there are ways to stay at home, even if your mobility is not good and that you need some care, some help. So there is home care. So it's a non-medical in-home care where a caregiver comes into your home, helps you with things like personal care, which is getting dressed, showering safely. It's a big fall risk right there. So really getting somebody to help you shower is a big thing. They can do things like your laundry, light housekeeping, meal preparation, transportation, and errands. So,
Mhm,
really, if you're not driving anymore, that caregiver can come in and help you get you to the doctor. So, if you really don't have that support around you to do that, that's a really great option. And most
mhm.
home care companies don't have a minimum a number of hours. Of course, the price
Important
will go
point. Yeah.
down as you lengthen those hours. And so I always suggest that and give people kind of when I find out their budget, then fit them with a caregiver, an agency company that can come in and help them with those things on their budget.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, I hear people say a lot, well, I can't afford that. But they're really, there are options for everyone based on schedule and based on the type of care you're looking for, even
Yeah,
at home.
it's a really good option if you do absolutely want to stay at home. So really, I work with you with the best options for where you want to be.
Mhm. And do you see that kind of as the first tier as far as options that might be available? Because it is a journey.
Mhm.
We're all getting older, but you don't have to answer all the questions right up front, I would think.
Yeah, so that's usually the easiest for people that are just kind of needing some support and they really don't want to move out of their home. They love their home. I'd see that as a first step.
Hmm.
So,
Good. Okay. And this isn't self-pandering, but I always push, push, push that people need to have their estate plan in place. So how important
that's
is it, right? How important is it for people to have that in place before they start working through all this? Are limitations if they don't have those things in place? What do you see from where you are?
Oh gosh, yeah. I see a lot of when I see people in rehab that they haven't given somebody power of attorney
Mm,
to help them through, and they don't have an estate plan. So that's the first thing I suggest is: do you have a trusted person to create that, or do you have those things in place? Do
mhm.
you know where those things are at? Those documents, those policies that were taken out. Um, are you familiar with them and know where they're at and have a
Right,
trusted attorney like yourself to help with those things?
right. It's part organization, advocacy, and it really is. It's a team effort too, because I know, and you and I have related things that we're working towards and can often kind of touch base on a particular person's needs, but the same thing with financial advisors, that I'm sure you see that as well.
Yeah, just knowing what your budget is because a lot of people don't know, do I have enough money for this lifestyle? How long is that going to last me? So if you don't have a trusted financial advisor to help you with that, I do have a list of them that I know, like, and trust. And
Mhm, me too,
so
yeah.
I'm always happy to help with those things too.
How many people are you seeing coming from other places these days?
From other
Chattanooga's
states.
getting busier and busier, and the real estate factor is a big one too.
It is, quite a few actually. What's fun is about a week ago, I toured an independent living community
Mm,
with some gals that they're one's from New York, one's from Florida. And so
mhm.
they were touring and they ran into somebody from New York right about the same neighborhood that they were in. So they
Wow.
recognized each other's accents and it was so much fun. They just ended up really connecting and enjoying that. So you find that when you move into a senior living community, that you'll find people from your area where you're from, and so that's the really fun aspect of it, is just the mix of people in there.
Yeah, you share a similar perspective and life experiences. So,
Yeah.
there's a connection there that we forget about sometimes, but that's really a big piece of community.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
So I find a lot that the kids have moved here and they love it here. And so they want to have mom or dad close to them or both. And then they move here, not sure where to go, what to do. So have a
Yeah.
lot of those that are looking for, neighbors, friends, because they're new to the area. And that's kind of a built in friendship right there.
Yeah. Yeah. That is a piece that people need help with as well. Um, let's flip the perspective a little bit because the other group that I hear from and is really needing help are the caregivers. Not professional caregivers necessarily, but adult children that recognize there's an issue, are concerned about mom and dad, and how are they going to make all this work?
Yeah. Well, learning those to have those crucial conversations is so important. I see a lot of kids have been worried for a while about mom and
Mhm.
dad, and worried that they're still driving. That is a big thing, but they're afraid to address those issues. But I also find seniors that are afraid to talk to their kids. I hear that, which is surprising. I guess that's the biggest surprise to me, is that they've said, I wanna talk to my daughter about this or son, but I don't know how to talk about it, that I
Yeah,
wanna do this. So,
yeah, yeah.
there's
Isn't
a
that
lot of
funny? And
fears.
then, the other side, I hear mom and dad don't want to talk about this. They shut me down, so
Yeah,
I think making an intentional plan to talk about some of these things can help with that, you know.
yeah. Well, creating a safe space for that, because
Mhm.
I find what drives that the most is fear,
Yeah,
and fear comes out as shutting people down. I don't wanna, and
yeah,
so people are really tending to just not wanna have that conversation because of fear. They don't wanna look at that.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's really a holistic kind of thing, just if they hear home care, then they think, okay, somebody I don't know is going to show up to my house and tell me to do all these things I don't want to do. But that's not it. That's not.
yeah. Well, and
So,
that caregiver is helping you stay independent and in your home. So, and
yeah,
people find that they enjoy it a lot more than they thought they would.
yeah. A lot of times they become important people in the family. So
Yeah, they
over
do. I've
time,
seen
yeah,
that over and over again.
yeah, yeah. So, you have any kind of success stories or something that happens often that you see, and it kind of motivates you when you get up in the morning, and you just like sharing that because it's the reason you're doing all this.
Yeah. Well, the unknown is a scary thing. So,
Mhm.
over and over, the success stories that resonate with me are the ones that they just feared going in. They don't want to go in to look at senior living. And then when they do and they actually move in, I see over and over again, we should have done this years ago. I
Mm.
just didn't know.
Mhm.
So, had I known it was this lifestyle and this much fun, they just start thriving, and the exercise and the fitness classes and the fun and the social and the great food and the great meals really help people thrive. And then they look back and go, why was I so afraid of this?
Right.
So, those are the main success stories. And then
Right.
seeing people get stronger, caregivers in their home. I had a success story where she discharged from rehab. She wasn't ready. The case managers had said, insurance ended. We don't see this. She's not ready to go home, but that's the only option. So we got caregivers in place. The caregivers helped her continue the physical therapy, got her stronger. She became independent again. So that was really a beautiful thing to see.
Well, welcome back, Boomer Time family. I know my glasses are a little bit tinted. I had to go outside and take care of a 911 situation with the lawn guy. but it's nice and quiet now. I didn't want you to have any distractions where I'm talking to my friend Kaya here with Front Porch Senior Advisors, and we are just touching on so many important issues. I hear these questions coming up all the time. So thank you for being here, Kaya. I really appreciate that.
Thank you for having me on here, Nancy.
Absolutely. Um, let's touch on the cost issue. Um, I do think that it is a challenge for some folks, but and they've got an idea of what the typical costs are. I share that all the time,
Yeah.
but it's not a one-way street. I mean, it does need to be even a team effort from that standpoint. What's part of the evaluation that you look at in terms of that budget that you mentioned earlier?
So, yeah, and thank you for addressing the cost too. People wonder
Mhm.
about that, and that's a lot of times what keeps them from looking into it because they assume
Yeah.
that it's a lot of money and that they can't afford it, which oftentimes is not. So, it's more doable than they think. Home care, independent living, assisted living, and memory care. So, to kind of know your budget, I usually like to find out, do you know where and what accounts you have? Um, what kind of financial resources, combined income, and I can have a financial advisor help with that too.
Hmm.
Some people know, but it's more often that they aren't sure. And
Hmm.
I can help with the cost. So, cost of things for home care, typical in the private realm, if you're looking at a private caregiver, is going to be about $25 an hour.
Hmm.
With companies, it's going to range in price from $30 an hour to $35 an hour is kind of an average of what it's going to cost. And so there are affordable ways to do that. Couple of times, having somebody come in a couple of times a week and utilizing services a few times a week is often really helpful. Um,
Hmm.
Independent living ranges in price. You can go as low as around $2,000 a month. Now,
Hmm.
remember, this is all inclusive. So this
Hmm.
isn't 2,000 a month plus everything. This is
Right. It's not
all
like a
of the
typical
costs.
apartment, and then you got to figure out everything else.
Yeah, yeah. So this is going to include your food, electricity, all of the things.
Mhm.
So 2000. Now, if you want a larger apartment in independent living or assisted living, that's going to cost a little bit more. So we're going to talk about the lower end of things, but you can go up from there. So
Mhm.
um, assisted living, where you have some help with showering, medication management, things like that, are going to run anywhere from 4,500 on the low end to like $8,000, depending on the building, the
And the type of
size
care
of
you need.
apartment, how
Yeah.
much care you need. So yeah, those things are all factors. And the memory care. You can get into a memory care community for as little as $4,500. It's not going to be fancy, but it's going to be, provide good care and
Mhm.
good food. So, and then
Yeah.
up from there. Memory care on a high end is going to be about $10,000 a month.
Yeah.
So, really planning for those things is going to be important. And so, knowing what you have is going to be important, and
Yeah.
budget.
Yeah. And I think oftentimes with that, you start looking at the biggest asset that's maybe not needed anymore or figuring out how to repurpose it, and i.e. the family home.
Mhm. Yeah. Yep, that a lot of times is going to be something that can fund that. So it is important though to get with a financial advisor or an
Right.
investment advisor to help with those things.
Right.
So
Yeah, you gotta be careful. I mean, there's so many factors. Again, you need professionals in terms of determining the value and any kind of tax implications and, where you should put those funds, who you sell it to. I mean, those are all things that could really trip you up.
yeah, yep, absolutely. So your best defense is getting pre-planning and
Yeah.
meeting with you first, and
Yeah.
then making a plan from there. So
Yeah.
I don't think you can be too early with that, and
Yeah.
the longer you wait, the more expensive it's gonna be.
Yeah.
So plan
You
early if
don't
you
know
can.
what you don't know, really. I mean,
Yeah, and that's what I help with. What are your
mhm.
options? Where are your resources? Let me help you with that and guide you through that process. So
Yeah. So how would someone initiate that conversation with you? How do they get in touch with you and what do they need for that kind of first discussion?
So the easiest thing to do is just call me. My
Mhm.
phone number will be on here, I think. The
Mhm.
423, yeah,
You can
356.
say it too if you want to
Okay.
give that now, and I'll have it on the website for everybody and where you're watching as far as the podcast is concerned. Yep.
Okay, yeah. So you can definitely call me at 423-356-2777. That's my cell phone, and call or text me, and that's usually the way people reach me. Um,
Hmm.
they can email me at Kaya at frontporchsenioradvisors.com, and that is another good way to reach me. But the quickest way really is call or text.
Hmm.
Weekends
Okay.
included. Whenever you call, I get, calls on the weekends, and I might be hiking or walking or doing something, but I'll answer.
Yeah, you gotta have that quality of life and preservation of yourself too. So be
Yeah.
nice to her people. So
Oh, people are
um,
usually always nice, and
yeah.
they're just thankful to have somebody to guide them through this process. And yeah, it's helpful to have a guide.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so, any other issues that we haven't talked about that you think might be relevant to our conversation? I do have people that may not be ready for making a shift. Maybe they can stay at home, but then they get hospitalized, and there's some complications with that. Or, it just shows you that you really need an advocate, even in the hospital. People can linger. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And usually that's what's prompting calls is something happens. One thing I do want to touch on though are veterans. So
yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah.
yeah, so veterans have some options and some benefits that they usually don't know about. So that's a lot of what I do is educating veterans on some programs that can provide assistance, both
Mhm.
income as well as in-home care paid for by the VA. Biggest qualifier for that is that you are in the VA healthcare system. If you're a veteran and you're not, I can help you with that. So I kind of know those ropes a bit, and so um, can help you with that and help connect you to the program that can provide caregiving for paid for by the VA. So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there are a lot of options out there. Just
yeah.
it's a process. So,
Yeah, options that you don't know about until we talk, and then they go, I had no idea. The
mhm,
organizations that can put a ramp on my house, put grab bars in at no cost to me,
mhm,
things like that for veterans that they had no idea about. So
yeah,
really contact me, even if you're not looking at moving right now. So if you
mhm.
are a senior that's looking for options or possibilities, then or guidance, give me a call.
Yeah, and just thought about something too. So of course we're here in this area, but do, if someone's in Georgia, can they can they call you? Or, what's your region as far as people you can help?
Well, physical location, I would go approximately 60-mile radius around Chattanooga. So
Okay,
yes, Georgia, Alabama, I can help physically in those areas. Now, if they're across the country or mom's in another state and they're not sure what to do, call me because
right.
I know
Mhm.
people in those states that can provide the same assistance that I do, if their parent is there, or help them from here.
Right, just like an elder law attorney is really the best when dealing with these things. You
Yeah.
don't want to go generic. You want somebody who understands the issues. So,
Yeah, and what options to look for in the state that you're in.
yeah. Well, thanks, Kaya. Thanks so much for being here. This is just, a lot of it's basic, but it's fundamental too. And it's really, the kind of things that people need to move through to be better aware and be prepared. So, can you give us your contact information again before we say so long for now?
Yes, absolutely. So give me a call or text on my cell phone is 423-356-2777. And then you can reach me on email, which is Kaya at frontporchsenioradvisors.com. My webpage also has a lot of resources as well and guidance. So feel free to access that at frontporchsenioradvisors.com.
Great. Thank you so much for taking time to be with us today. I so appreciate it. These conversations are so important.
Yeah, and thank you for all you do, Nancy, because I
Oh,
know you provide so much education and all the resources.
well, I enjoy it. I want my older peeps out there to be prepared and have a great quality of life and a great finish. So that's
Yeah.
what motivates me. But and I will have your contact information and other information on my website, nancycogar.com. So you can go and find it there, people. And we'll have it associated with the podcast. And I did want to say, because I'm always badgering you about this, but I see more and more people doing it. Please, please like and share the podcast and subscribe so that you never miss an episode. That helps me to reach more people. It helps to get this information out. And it helps you because then you'll see me and my guests and not miss any information. So, right, right.
Love it.
Oh, yeah. So I hear my little lawn people coming back again. So I appreciate their patience. But I think we've covered a good amount of important issues for folks. So, and if they need follow up, you're the perfect person to call. So I hope to encourage them that they do that. So, and come back again sometime. We got something
Love to.
we welcome the community. So yeah. Well, and all of you, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time here on Boomer Time.